RDTDaily.com presents a Tarabuster with comedian Tara Devlin.
All right, hold on. I'm getting an echo up in this bitch. Hello, this bitch is getting an echo up in this bitch. My name is Tara Devlin. Thank you for hanging out. I had the wrong camera up. It's okay. I'm in a mood tonight, and I'm glad you're here to help me. And I'm glad that Nick Paro is joining us in a few minutes to help me. You know, we're in this together. My name is Tara Devlin. Let me just do some of the, intros for those who are new. Keep coming back. It works if you work it, so work it, you're worth it, and live it. And we meet here every Friday evening, right here, and now we're in a few places. First, we only met at the Tarabuster YouTube channels and such. Now we are in other places. Substack. I see Nick in the chat. He's getting ready to jump in. And Nick Paro from Banner and Backbone and the Anti-Fascist Book Club. Sick of This Shit podcast, which is a great name. I should have named. It's like one of those names I'm like, I wish I had named my podcast The Sick of This Shit, because I'm damn sick of it. I say that a lot. I say I'm sick of it a lot. So, and everybody that is in the chat room knows that. So, all right. And so we're over at youtube.com/c4channel/Tarabuster. We're streaming on the Political Voices Substack as well, and on the Banner and Backbone, which is Nick's podcast, and Nick's Substack page. So many places. Also, I'll have to look it up. He can help me out when we get back, when he jumps in on the channel here. Banner and Backbone, The Sick of This Show, and where else? I think we're on Twitch, on the Tarabuster Twitch page. And really, guys, thank you for being here. And on youtube.com/c4channel/Tarabuster. Tonight, there will be no raid from the sparklers, so I do hope that the sparklers are there. Oh, I see. Yeah, we get some sparklers. Pearlwise, welcome. Pearlwise says, hello, I'm new here. I'm a sparkler. Thanks for being here. And if you guys, Hal didn't have a show tonight, so there won't be a raid, unfortunately, because I find it's like Christmas when we get raided by Hal Sparks. But Hal has some family issues he has to take care of, so please send him all your love and good positive energy. I think we can all use it now, but Hal especially. So, and I'm thinking of him too. He's got, I mean, it's nothing, I'm not spilling any secrets. His father's not doing well, so he's with his family where he needs to be. So send him all your love. All right, guys. What else? Oh, here's Boudica. Oh, now she's going away. I needed Boudica right there, but she walked away from me. Isn't this the way it is in the world? Little Booty Boo. You could become a member at the Booty Boo level of the YouTube channel. So if you can do that, if you got it like that, please do. But liking and subscribing and all that stuff helps too. I know everywhere you go, people are like, please, subscribe. Please do this, do that. Looking for money. But we don't have big billionaire benefactors. We only have each other. This is how we're going to be able to continue making these shows like this. Because this is the liberal media. And I know. I hear you. It's... we do it anyway. And that's how I always say, too. It's in life in general. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you do it anyway. And this is how I started the show. You know, I did it anyway. Didn't matter that it wasn't perfect, and sometimes we make mistakes. We keep doing it anyway, and you guys are great about that too, because, you know, you get it. You get it. So, and we're here to tell the truth and make the world safe for democracy and get this country back from the grips of fascism. And make no mistake, we're here. The only, not the only, okay, and I've talked about this before. We will win, okay? We will win, but we can't give up. We can't concede an inch. We have to keep pressing and pushing, because we're on the right side of history. You know, we are on the right side of decency, dignity, democracy, humanity, and they're not, and they're monstrosities. What more do they want? They want it all. They don't like democracy. They never liked it. They don't like America. They like the branding, and they like that people are stupid enough to fall for it. But before I keep going, I wanted to say thank you, Charlie, from APS Radio and APS Radio News. Now, if you guys haven't, you know I love Charlie, and he is one of the great benefactors of this channel, keeping the show going and growing, not just, you know, in the practical manner of money. He donates a lot to the channel and to the community cats that I help take care of, and he helps take care of them by extension, you know. But he keeps me mentally going too, psychologically, with very kind words of encouragement, and I appreciate that. He's really one of the good guys. So if you can, now I have a suggestion for you. Over the holidays, over Thanksgiving, if you have your families around and your friends and whatnot for your holiday dinner, don't worry about what kind of music you're going to listen to. Check out APS Radio, and that's the music. Just let APS Radio spin the tunes, the oldies and the classic rock and oldies all day. I think that will be a great soundtrack of the memories you're going to make this holiday season. And also on APS Radio also has a classical channel. So, okay, just saying, tune in. Sometimes you just got to put the music on and, you know, take a break and take a couple of breaths. But it would be great if you can support Charlie, APS Radio, and APS Radio News. All right. And what else was I going to say? Oh, yes, and who just said that? I love your shirt, Tara. This is the Sea Shepherd. I love the Sea Shepherd. One of my... Because you guys know that I'm a big animal rights person. And frankly, if we weren't fighting fascism, I'd probably be on the front lines of the animal rights movement, really fighting. I mean, I do what I can, but if I could, if I had my dreams, my puny dreams could come to fruition, I would love to join the Sea Shepherd and just go take to the sea and go fuck some shit up and stop some monsters from like murdering whales and things like that. And the reason I love the Sea Shepherd, as opposed to, I love, not all love. What is love, right? Truth, what is truth? Love, what is love? But what I like about Sea Shepherd is that, Paul Watson left Greenpeace because Greenpeace took the stance of bearing witness, okay? And Paul Watson was like, what are we bearing witness to? Bearing witness to them clubbing seals and illegally, murdering whales and whatnot. And Paul Watson was like, no, we're not going to bear witness. We're going to stop this shit. And we're going to put our bodies in the line of the assault. And we're going to make a difference that way. And they were instrumental with getting the Japanese whaling industry to stop whaling in I think it was the Southern Ocean near Australia. But and they've had a lot of successes in that sense. So I appreciate that kind of activism. Bearing witness is fine. I guess there comes a time and place for that when we take out our phones and record these fascists, committing crimes. These masked bastards, these shameful masked thugs committing crimes against the American people. Yes, we got to bear some witness there, but there's going to come a time where we're going to have to put our bodies on the line. And I'm not talking about violence either, because we will not win with violence. We will have to. All we have to do, I believe, in many circumstances, is just sit down. That's it. Don't move. Sit down. Put your bodies in the gears of the machine, and more is going to be required of us, I believe, in the next few years, especially. Who could have predicted that it would have gone this fast? I guess, well, now that I'm saying that, I guess we could have predicted it because they wrote it out in Project 2025 that it was, it's going to be 90 days to destruction of the constitutionally limited democratic republic. All right, hold on. We'll be right back. This is Tara Devlin. Hold on. My fucking ass is killing me in this chair. I've been sitting in this chair since 9 a.m. You guys don't even believe me, right? That's why I ask you to become a patron at patreon.com/Tara Devlin, because, and other things, whatever you could do to keep the show going and growing. If you can become a member of the YouTube channel, if you can subscribe to the Substack, there's all kinds of ways, to support this independent little channel here as part of, the Political Voices Network too. But yeah, the more, maybe the more support. My dream, really, besides joining Sea Shepherd, would be if we can get enough subscribers and stuff to get some help up in this bitch, for this bitch, to do things like, I don't know, make videos that I got to do everything here. I'm not, all right, stop complaining. I'm not complaining. So, yes, Twisted Nerves Painting says, I totally believe you, Tara. Been filming and painting since 5 a.m. Exactly. Twisted Nerves Painting has his own YouTube channel, and if you're not subscribed, the link's in the description. Twisted Nerves Painting is also running a fundraiser for some video equipment, and I encourage everybody to take a moment right now and please subscribe to our friend Twisted Nerves Painting, which is sort of like what is Twisted Nerves Painting? It sounds, that sounds like a pretty ominous moniker. It is a channel where our friend Twisted Nerves Painting does very beautiful models and artwork for therapy, for physical therapy, but also accompanies the videos of the artwork, which is incredible, meditation, and Twisted Nerves Painting has a great voice where it's just one of those channels that you put on and you keep it on, sort of like APS radio, I gotta tell you. So all right, we support each other, so thank you guys. Let's see, so what time we got? What's we got here? So we're going to talk about a few things when Nick calls in. And Nick, you can call in. It's about, if you want to call in at a quarter. He said, what time should I call in? I said, I don't know, 11:45. What time is it? Yeah, 8:45 or 9, whatever you think. It is Halloween, and Nick has kids, so, I don't have any kids. I just have cats. I got cats and a guinea pig. And they don't like dressing up. In fact, Francis is actually he's in a surgery suit now. You guys know my ongoing drama with Francis, trying to get him to this thing that he had on his shoulder. I had to have it removed, and it's taken forever to heal. And then just when I think it's healed, I take the thing off, he murders it again. So now he's in a cone. If you see him, he might walk behind us, but he looks kind of cute. He's wearing, I bought a surgery suit for him and had to cut it. I'll show you a picture. And so he's in a surgery suit and a cone. So this is where how it's going, right? How it started, how it's going. Here's another pic. He's a little fat. I gotta do something about that. You know? He's too fat. I realized it when I put that surgery suit on him. I'm like, man, you're looking kind of fat there, buddy. But that's my fault. It's not his fault. I got to stop overfeeding him, I guess. And the doctor says, you know, I got to measure out the food, but it's hard with the 4 of them, but none of them are starving, that's for sure. All right, let's see. Where do we begin? So how do we start the show tonight? There's so much horrors in the world. And I've been writing a lot at the Political Voices Network. And actually, this is a good in to start with, because I did a video yesterday for Political Voices. And wait, hold on. I just got to make sure everything is working. I guess if Nick was having trouble calling in, he could text me too. And he's very, very smart about all the technical stuff. So maybe he can help out with consolidating the chat room one of these days. Got to figure that out too. But yes, let me see. Be on soon. Okay, he says. Be on soon. Okay, good. Just got to make sure everything's working properly too. Interview. Make sure that is on. So many buttons. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Okay, so I wrote this article. Well, I did. It was a video over at the Political Voices Network about, I'm not sure if you policy remember. You probably do. It's embedded in one of the nightmares of the last few years and during the campaign. How we all remember that the immigrants, the Haitian immigrants of Springfield, were eating the dogs and eating the cats. And I had to rewatch that clip to talk about it in this article I wrote. But the reason I brought it up was because the immigrants of Springfield, the Haitian immigrants, because of Republican maggot racist policies, now they're fleeing Springfield. And guess what? The town that was on the way back, that was being revitalized, is now once again on the decline. So Springfield, Ohio, has been murdered by Republican policies, not once, but twice, because it was Reaganomics that killed Springfield to begin with. And when you think about, we used to have a part of the American landscape called the manufacturing belt, right? Well, there goes Buddha. And now we have a place, or it was transformed by the Reaganomics and Clintonomics, truthfully, into the Rust Belt. You know, just think about how disgusting that is, that we have leaders in this country, that we have people we send to Washington to promote the general welfare, and they turn a segment of the population and the country from the manufacturing belt to the Rust Belt, from an economically vibrant, upwardly mobile, middle-class American dream into decay. And I don't get it, how people keep voting. They just keep voting for the same politicians that that grease the wheels on their own demise. Oh, here we go. Great. Nick, hold on a second. We got Nick in the house. Thank you for calling. Hold on. The pressure's on. Where is the camera? Wait a second, guys. Wait a second. Very good. Very good. Oh, here's the music. Great. Good timing. Good timing. We'll be right back. This is Tara Devlin, Unapologetic Liberal Talk. We'll be right back with Nick Paro from Banner and Backbone. Okay. I'm just trying to find my cameras. This is what happens every time I do a show. The scenes. Okay, here we go. There we go. Nope, wrong one. Now I gotta put Nick in there. There we go. All right. You're looking good. Oh, wow. Your audio sounds great too.
Does it?
Yes. No, you have a great voice. You just have a voice for radio too.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I've been told that a couple times.
Oh, really? You should do VOs.
I have not been told that I have a face for radio, though.
I hear you. I haven't. I've been told neither a voice or a face. So.
I think you have a voice for radio. Okay, let me turn my VPN off so that it's not so laggy on my side.
Oh, okay.
Okay, there we go. I think that's better.
Right. You use a VPN when you stream?
I just started using a VPN.
How come? Because
because I got one with Proton Mail.
Mm-hmm.
Because Banner and Backbone has a Proton business thing.
Okay. No, I'm just curious. That's all. Because
Yeah.
I think should I get one? So.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah. Because I get,
I think
I got doxxed and all, so before, and
I think it's useful to have
yeah, it does make me
one.
nervous sometimes,
Yeah. I think it's useful to have one. I get why companies use them and businesses use them. So I'm not upset using one.
Right.
And if it comes with a business account for Proton,
Right.
for my company, then absolutely, yeah, why
Yeah.
not?
Might as well. Exactly.
Might as well. If it comes with the subscription, may as well use it.
Right. Well, thank you. Right. And yeah, might as well get what you pay for. And yes.
Absolutely.
So thank you for hanging out tonight on Halloween. And for those who don't know, can you just let us know what your Substack, your everything that you're doing?
Yeah,
Let us know.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me on, Tara. I
Of
appreciate
course.
coming on and getting to talk with you. I'm Nick Paro. I am the co-founder at Banner and Backbone Media, a small independent veteran-owned media company. Me and Lawrence Winterman founded, and Frederick Pogue originally founded with us. And we are building a independent media group and collaborative space for folks to be able to come together and do um, center moral
Mm.
discussions and fairly progressive values overall.
Huh.
Um,
Center
but
moral. What is that?
yeah, that like 80 something percent of the population thinks that everyone should have access to universal health care.
Right.
So the center moral opinion would be universal health care through taxpayer funded healthcare services. The
Right.
government should offer a service that we
Yeah.
all pay into, and we don't pay anything else for anything else. So
There you
center
go.
moral. I think it's center moral because it's a neutral moral view as everyone
Huh.
gets.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering because it seems like that to me seems like common sense, of course. And they
Yeah.
tell me that's just crazy. That's crazy talk, right? That we can have universal health care like the rest of the world has for generations. Why not? I don't know.
Why can't we? Yeah, why
We
can't we have
can,
nice
yeah.
things?
Why can't we? You know, and that's really the truth. Why? And I have a theory on that. And
Yeah.
that's why maybe we could talk about it, because where you live
Yeah.
in a red state,
Yeah.
you live right.
Yeah, so finishing my introduction, I
Yes.
also run the Sick of This Shit publications, which is my personal Substack, and I do chronic illness focused discussions and veteran related issues because that's what I'm
Right.
good at and I
Right.
know. And then on Banner and Backbone, I collaborate with a ton of folks, and we do things from tech to masculinity to veteran issues to just general civic discussions,
It's
but
great.
always based around civics. And yeah, so
It's
that's
wonderful.
that's really who I am. I lost my job as a tech worker. The 4th of July was my
Uh,
official last day. Happy happy birthday, America.
right. Right.
Um,
That's
thanks,
horrible.
Nick. Celebrate with fireworks the last day of work.
Uh,
Um, and yeah, and so I hopped on Substack. I write poetry a lot, and I have decided that it's okay to be progressively minded and have real center views, like
right.
because I'm a conservative and I'm a
Huh.
progressive because they're
You seem
not
pretty
opposites.
right. Well,
They're not
that's odd.
opposites.
Yeah. Yeah. The
They're not opposites.
conservative
A
is
regressive is the opposite of
right.
of a progressive.
There you go. Right. Exactly. That's why it's
And
so frustrating to listen to them call themselves conservatives. It always drives me mad. They're not conservatives at all.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, they're not really conservative because conservative implies that you intend to conserve and preserve something and defend it. And so I'm conservative because I want to conserve and defend
Right.
the foundations of our country and the Constitution and our
That's right.
founding documents. But I'm progressive because I want rights to progress forward and people to have the civil
Right.
values and civics and understanding and protections that I have. Like,
Right.
I'm a white man. I get enough protections. I get all the positives in this country for the most part. I don't get all of them. I don't get all the tax incentives and all that shit.
Yeah, because
But
you're not
like I get enough of
wealthy.
the
Yeah.
positives um that I want at least that. And everybody
Right.
else has good things like universal healthcare and
Yeah.
universal education systems, which we're the richest country in the world. We should be able to afford that. We
And
should be
we
able to do
could.
that
Yeah.
and we could. And it would be a lot simpler than it's made out to be if we just didn't compromise to make it bad.
Right. It's a matter of will, and it's a matter of, I think, being people being misinformed and
Yeah.
propagandized. Definitely, 100%. You know, and what
Yeah.
and throughout history, I think it's class always supersedes any other, wealth in class always supersedes any other perceived or what am I trying to say? Not perceived, like, oh, like as a white man, um,
Like
you
indoctrinated.
yeah, but it's sort of like, Queen Elizabeth the First was the queen during a time when women were nothing and had no rights, but her, because
Hmm.
she was wealthy and born
Yeah.
rich and in the right circumstances, she was able to, assume the throne. So that always, so it didn't matter. Her gender didn't matter in that, but because it's always been about, the rich against the rest of us, no matter what. Whatever other perceived, that's what I'm trying to say, whatever other distinction without a difference, or, you know what I mean, that they put upon us, like, white against black, or gay against straight,
Hmm.
men against women, women against men, that all that bullshit is just bullshit. It really is,
It really is.
because we're in this
It
together.
really is. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
And the thing is, there's so much more similarities for all of us than there are differences. The thing that I like, I'm okay with building political coalitions and not moral coalitions with some people. Like there are some things I'm not going to agree with on a lot of people, but like you and folks that I've gotten to talk to on Substack and Ellie Leonard and Melissa Corrigan and Shane Urich and and Walter Ryan and folks like that. Like things are, uh, there's a network of just like there's a network of really cool people and really neat people
Yes.
out here that actually care.
Right.
And
Right.
it's really it's really been fun to be able to get to be a part of that and like
Right.
get my views out there and see that I'm not alone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not screaming into a
Right.
void because I live in a red state
Yes.
where we are finding out really badly in a lot of
Mm.
areas what a government shutdown that is on purpose to defund and bankrupt a lot of
Yeah.
organizations and
Right.
shut down civil services without shutting them down.
That's right.
Um, is we're losing a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
Arkansas, where I live, is getting hit really hard.
Mm.
Oklahoma, the state right next to me, is getting hit really hard.
Right.
Missouri is getting hit really hard. But, and, sorry, not but, and
Mm-hmm.
some of those folks voted for this and they need to find out and they need to feel it themselves because otherwise they're
Yes.
never going to feel it. Otherwise, they're never going to change their minds because I think it was Winston Churchill once said it was that, or it's attributed to him anyways, is that
Mm-hmm.
after Americans have made every other decision or
Oh,
something like that, they'll
yes.
come
They'll
to the
do the
right
right
choice.
thing.
They'll do the
Yeah.
right thing. And I agree, is once it's really once white America gets hit by something really hard, then they decide to do the right thing, and there's a
So
really
true.
far and
Yeah.
hard pushback.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what he said. They Americans will do the right thing after exhausting every other option, and
Yeah,
that's a shame because we really are late to the party in every other leap forward in progress with for example slavery.
yeah,
It took us a bloody civil war. Other countries, other nations did it with a stroke of a pen. They didn't have to take up arms, and we were late
yeah.
to that party too, of course. So
I'm really hoping we don't have to relive that
no,
to
I know.
prevent slavery from coming back, like
Well,
officially coming back.
yeah. I mean, we do have the, yeah, indentured servitude. I think, and I do.
Hmm.
I should look this up because now that you're saying it, because I think they're trying to bring back like debtors' prisons and things like that, and it's not out of the possibility. Do you know something
Yeah,
about
and
this?
they're getting rid of debt protection to around student loans.
Oh,
Um,
really?
and then they're all, and at the same time that they're doing that, they're criminalizing homelessness. So they're going to drive you into either homelessness or debtor's prison. And
Right.
then, oh, look, you're now in the prison slave system where you are
Right.
literal slave
Now you're a slave. Yeah.
labor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and oh, by the way, you don't get the right to vote again after you get out and you've served your time and you've
That's
done,
right.
say, your probation period, is you don't get your right to vote back
Right.
unless, and in some states, yes, you get your right to vote back. Others, you don't. Others, you have to like fight to get it back and go through a bunch of hoops. And I think that's stupid. Like
Of yeah, it is.
once you've done, you should get your rights back. Like once
Exactly.
you,
But you see how Republicans, this is how they frame it. It's always in a they use argument by anecdote all the time. They'll say,
yeah,
"Oh, you want the guy who raped a little girl," or and like they'll use the worst example of the
it's always,
worst.
yeah, yeah. It's
No,
this
it's
devil's
not that.
advocate.
Yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So,
but
but no, I agree 100% because we should be, when people go to prison and they're serving their debt to society or repaying their debt to society, we should want them as part of our communities, to have a stake in the community again. Isn't that the point?
yeah,
So these are our neighbors. We're not going to, what good does it do for society to completely make them, ostracize people for forever and ever? It's about reducing the amount of people who might not vote Republican. It really is that simple. They come up with all these hoops to and it's the blue states that allow
Yeah.
those felons and whatnot to, as long as you paid your debt, you're
Hmm.
back and you can vote. Why shouldn't you? Really?
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, the prison system itself is probably a whole different
Right.
conversation. Um, but
Uh-huh.
brought up from all of that is they want to send people into poverty. And we're
Yes.
seeing that right now is they want to take away, when I say they, I mean the Republican Party
Yes.
in America, the Republican
Exactly.
Fascist Party wants to and is taking away your healthcare benefits.
Yes, they are.
A lot of places, people are seeing triple in their increases for their premiums this year.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like that's unacceptable. The Republicans are giving the choice of triple your healthcare or get SNAP benefits, not both.
Yes. Yes.
But we just gave ICE and DHS more money than the Marine Corps, like we were
That's
talking
right.
about earlier today.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and we've given companies like Palantir huge contracts.
That's right.
We have just given Argentina $40 billion. We're spending $300 million on a little penis palace to
Yes.
destroy the White House and rebuild it. We have spent I
Well,
think 150-ish million on new jets for Christy
yeah.
Nome,
Right. Yeah.
to go fly around with her boyfriend Corey
Yeah.
Lewandowski,
Right.
um, and go just do shit like that, or Kash Patel to go fly and meet his girlfriend
That's
in
right.
Vegas or other places. Instead of doing jobs, they get new jets and they get vacations, while the
And
rest of us are working our asses off.
this is why it's so alarming that they are acting like they're not even trying to pretend they're serving the American people at all.
No.
This is
No, it's
this
naked
isn't
corruption.
yeah, it's an aristocracy. It's the kind of system, it's the kind of behavior that our ancestors had to endure for thousands of years in Western civilization, where the rich run and rule, and they get all the earthly rewards while we toil in the fields awaiting our rewards in heaven. And the way that they act is reflective of this, that they think they're not leaving, they're not gonna, and so there's a couple of course, I had today I was very down in the dumps the whole day, but doing thinking about everything, and uh, and but doing the show and doing your show
Mhm.
earlier and whatnot, it makes me feel better, because at least we're doing something. Action is
Yeah.
always the remedy. And but there's a couple of things that give me hope in a way, and that is that, well, for one, the American people are, there's only so much we're gonna stand. Just like Winston Churchill said, we will eventually do the right thing after exhausting every other option. I don't think the American people are going to stand for a king and an aristocracy. They're,
No.
for a long, for after a while, especially with so much suffering, with the suffering is so apparent. The other
Hmm.
thing is that the in a fascist takeover in history, usually there is a bit of a bump. It's sort of like, I guess, doing heroin or something. Like you get that
Yeah.
initial, rush, and then comes the consequences. But we don't have that now. There's no upside to this for the American people. He's not building the
No.
autobahn. He's firing
No.
people. He's not, you know, he's not doing anything. He's not, there's no victories here, except that the lies that come out of his hole. I stopped 7 wars. Nobody gives a shit. That's a lie
I know you
anyway.
didn't.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
no, you didn't. I stopped 7 wars. Nobody cares. You're building a ballroom while you're firing people and cutting people's lifelines, and
Yeah,
you
and
know,
SNAP benefits run out of money because tomorrow,
By choice.
because by choice, the
Yep.
federal government by choice has decided to violate the law, where it requires that SNAP benefit backup funds, emergency funding that is in place and already appropriated, be used in case of a government shutdown
Right.
that's already
Right.
in place. They're choosing not to do that. They're choosing to purposely violate the law and not give
Right.
people food while building a
Yeah.
ballroom. Literal let them eat cake
Yeah.
moment
Yeah.
is there. It's a big middle finger to everybody. And one of the things to like just going back to the prison thing and how we're talking about they're transferring wealth. Part of this is major prison industrial complex
That's
prison
right.
industrial complex contracts. Cheryl points out in the chat on Substack was they want to build prisons to hold like up to 10,000 people, and in multiple states. Well, funny you say that, Cheryl, is
Mm.
I live in Arkansas where we have a vacant Senate seat in the state house because a state senator died. Um, and Sarah Huckabee Sanders, our governor, is refusing to hold the special election to um, put a new state senator in place for, I think it's Franklin County and two other counties. Franklin County is the important one because last session we did not pass the budget to include a prison. Sarah wants to ram it through without the state senators that would represent that
Wow. What
district
is?
in place.
What?
So, state level, no taxation or taxation without representation. And they want to build a massive prison that the county doesn't want. The county doesn't want, the sheriffs in the county don't want, the tribal groups in the county don't want, the city doesn't want. Um, it's built, they want to build it on the middle of shitty land that, or shitty,
Mm.
unusable land. Um, and there's nothing out there already. Like they would have to, and it's a waste of money, and they don't, the residents don't want it, but
It's a big
Huckabee wants
contract.
it.
Yeah.
It's a big contract, and Huckabee wants it, and so where she's going to ram it through. So there, she's violating the state constitution and holding the election after 150 days after the seat was vacated by an additional 130 days, so that
So
the entire spring session for 2026, that district does not have a state senator. The
well, what
last
it?
state senator to sit
Yeah.
there was a Republican. She doesn't even want a new Republican in. She just wants it empty.
Well, I thought government was the problem, Nick. Right? I mean, I'm only
Mm.
being, of course, I'm being sarcastic, and this is what I'm talking about. The Republicans. This is what we got a big problem here because the
Hmm.
people of Arkansas voted for Sarah Huckabee Sanders and her ilk.
They did.
And is this
Some
what
of
they
them,
voted for?
yes.
Yeah, and some of them, and
Some of them,
yes, thank you.
and
You're
yes, some
you're a
of them, I
normal
think they
person,
did
so
vote. I think some of them did actually vote for this, though. Like specifically for these things.
right,
There are some people that definitely voted for these policies.
right. The
But
authoritarianism.
most, oh yeah, but most, even those who voted, I bet a majority of them didn't even pay attention enough to realize what they were
Right.
voting for in the long run.
Yes.
Um, is they voted for it, and now all of their jobs are being taken away, and health services are being taken away, and
Right.
social services are being taken away. And you know what?
Oh
Sucks.
well.
It's going to
Sucks to
suck
be
for a
you.
lot of us. Sucks to
Yeah.
be you
Not
too.
you. I
Like,
mean, you're not you. I'm not talking you personally. I
yeah,
don't. But
but like,
red voters, Republican voters, sucks to
yeah,
Oh
and
well.
oh well, like you get what you voted for. Actions have consequences,
Right.
and we're adults here, and people need to start being treated like adults. Like we don't treat a lot of people like adults anymore,
Oh
specifically men.
yes.
So we don't hold any men to account. Um, and
Well,
I really like to push back on the narrative of white men getting to be
yes.
held unaccountable. So that's my big thing
Right.
is making sure other white men have to be held accountable for what they do.
Well, I think
Graham
that,
Ladner.
well, that's a whole other conversation too, because I think that, in order to be a Republican female, let's say in this Republican Party, you have to agree that the most persecuted person or group are white men, straight white men.
Yeah.
So, and they act like
Or
it,
pitiful
like these,
us.
yeah, the poor babies are being persecuted, and yeah, but as far as see what we were just talking about with the
Yeah. I
the
digressed.
no, it's okay. No, it's great, and I'm glad. This is why we're just having a conversation. So, no, but because I wrote this article over at the Political Voices about this very topic what you're talking about. Let me see. I just want to pull it up, but because I came across this post on Reddit, which and everyone who watches my show knows that I spend some time on the leopards eating my face or our face Reddit page for the heavy dose of schadenfreude that I enjoy. I like watching
Who doesn't?
Republicans, yeah, have a lot of regrets because to me it's not about oh haha nah nah. It's like what we're talking about. These people need to wake the fuck up, and it's the reason that they're and this is what drives me insane. And it's all because of the corporate media and the media outlets that these people are consuming. Why are you continuing to vote for the very people that are cutting your lifelines all the time? And it's a failure of Democrats to message. It's a failure all around of Democrats to message. Of course, the Republicans are liars, but then they because of the Telecommunications Act and consolidating media, we have really solidified these camps. So it's
Yeah.
not you're not just voting Republican, like you're voting with your camp, your group. They will just vote whoever has an R after their name and not
Yeah.
consider the consequences because there's a heavy dose of social contagion in the whole thing because you don't want to be or I mean not me but them. I'm saying they don't you don't want to be an outsider, especially in the Republican Party. They're not rugged
Yeah.
individuals at all. They're all the same. It's groupthink. And so anybody who
Yeah.
votes Democratic, you're voting, I mean, you are betraying your country. You're not just voting for a Democrat. You hate America. This is what they have been listening to forever. And it's not true. It's just not true. And, I mean, the blame that goes to the Democrats, I
Yeah.
believe, is that they haven't broken through and they haven't messaged, and I think that they do it because you got to be. I mean, there's a new kind of Democrat coming along now that is hearing the message of not giving a shit. Like you have to be strong. You have to really be unapologetic and not try to save anybody's feelings at this right now.
Y-
You got to pull their
Yeah.
covers, I think.
Yeah. I like calling. I've heard it called a couple times. It's the fuck you left. And
Okay, good. I
that's
like that.
that's pretty much how I feel. Which is also one of the reasons I named my main publication, my personal one, "Sick of This Shit," was because
Oops, wrong one.
I'm
Sorry.
just sick of this. Oh no.
No, no, you're still there. I was just pressing the wrong button. I'm like, good night. No, I hit
Uh,
the wrong button. I was
I
trying to find the right camera to put the, side by side up. You're funny. We still hear you.
is
We can still hear you.
Yeah, I'm really just sick of the shit that's going on. Like I'm so fucking tired of being gaslit. I'm so sick of
Yes.
being told that everything's my fault. When
Right.
it's not. I'm tired of everything being blamed on me not working hard enough or me not
Right.
providing enough or me not being good enough or me
Yeah. Why don't
not
you just pull yourself
something.
up by your bootstraps? Pull
Yeah,
yourself up by
like
your bootstraps and marry marry a con man, marry
Yeah,
a billionaire. What's wrong with you?
yeah. I
Really?
mean, like, I pulled myself up by my bootstraps. I went to college the first time. I
Mm-hmm.
went for a degree in music theory and composition, and I got that from a really good school from Carnegie Mellon University. But I didn't get into the program that I wanted to get into, and so I joined the Army. And
Mm-hmm.
then after that, I got a second college degree in computer science and software engineering, and I got a
That's
really
pretty
good job
impressive.
for 6 years. Like I went through two different jobs. I got laid off from both. The
Right.
only jobs I've ever been laid off from were tech, and like I pulled myself up by my bootstraps. Where's my
That's right.
reward for all of it? My
Right.
reward was I got fired for doing my job
Exactly. Phew.
better than they wanted me to do. Like I pushed through so much shit for a company, and my reward
Right.
was what?
You get,
Was
well,
here you
because you're
go.
nothing.
Fuck
You're
off.
nothing but a number on a balance sheet. And I just went through, and people know because I'm a freelancer, but I work, I work for myself. I don't say where I work or where, I work in TV.
Hmm.
They know. But I just lost a big client myself in a big, because as you know, in media, people are, they're laying everybody off. I was one of the people that was just laid off myself. That was, um,
Well, of
yeah.
course you have a uterus and a vagina
Oh, yeah. Well,
and you're
it's
not white
DEI.
and have a penis. Yeah,
Right.
it's
Yeah.
DEI that white men didn't get their jobs
That's
because
true.
we're
Well,
owed
which is so offensive.
everything.
The whole thing is
Yeah.
offensive. Yeah. I mean, and I served my country. I have a master's degree, and in this particular job, never missed a day, never called it, like
Hmm.
the whole thing. And it doesn't matter. In the long run, we're all just a number on a balance sheet. And I'm bringing it up. I don't, people know that I'm in transition right now, like struggling like the rest of us. But I've been saying it for years. What is the meaning of life, right? What is the meaning of an economy? And this is what we have to get back, and why I think, I do my show and what we're doing here and in general is we have to reframe this. What is the meaning of an
Hmm.
economy? Is it to make a few people very rich? Because the company that just laid me off, and I was a contractor. This is how they do it
Yeah.
now. You know that they don't hire people anymore anyway. There's all different tiers of employments.
Hmm.
You're an independent contractor. You're this. You're that. Like they make all these fake companies that they funnel you into, and so you're not getting paid through the company that everybody knows. You're being paid through, Joe's Last Chance salary distributor or whatever,
Yeah, and
and
everybody takes a cut somewhere in between of your
that's right.
salary.
That's right. And then they have these other tiers where you don't get benefits or you do get benefits. I mean, it's just the whole thing. And, I do other work as well. So I mean, I have no fucking life. People are like, where are you going on vacation? I'm like, what the hell's a vacation? I'll be sitting in this chair, you know,
Yeah.
and doing my show or working in other ways. But the point is, it's not just about me. I'm not just griping about it. I
No,
feel
but
it
everybody.
too.
It's for everybody.
Yeah, I'm here,
Like,
with you guys too. I get it. I'm in the boat too. But
yeah.
yes, but the thing is, even when things were looking better, uh, we've been saying it for years. What is the meaning of life? What is the meaning of an economy? The Republicans want you to think it's exactly what you're saying. It's not
Hmm.
the system. It's you. If you aren't a billionaire or doing better, then it's your problem. It's not you. The system is fine. It's working as designed. Yeah, if you are a billionaire trying to put your boot on everybody's neck, it's working really well for you. And
Oh yeah.
but we the people, and this is why what pisses me off about the Republicans, that they have so divided us, and the Republicans have fallen for it. Now, these are the people that they see conspiracies under every goddamn wazoo, Well, why don't you see the conspiracy that is unfolding right in front of your face, that's been unfolding for time immemorial or in memoriam, and that is make the rich richer, divide and conquer, you know,
Yep.
on every fissure of
Oldest strategy.
disunity. Yeah, make the rich richer, divide and conquer. So it's as old as time, as old as recorded history and before. So we
Hmm.
have to get the, and that's why I have this. If you look at the screen, this is a post that someone posted at the "Leopards Eating My Face" Reddit page of someone who posted on social media, a Trump voter, saying, "I'm anxious about this whole shutdown. My husband's a veteran using his GI Bill for school, which has affected, which that's affected, and we get food stamps since I'm disabled and he's in school. We have 2 kids. One is waiting to get tested for autism. She's a picky eater, blah 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 blah, right? I cook everything from scratch. I've been adding rice and beans and noodles to stretch it out. I'm at my wit's end. I'm overwhelmed. Plus, we're almost out of formula." He asked his mother to buy a can until our WIC comes in, our women in influence and children benefits come in. Her response was, "We voted for this." And good. Why are you voting? I mean, to read that whole thing, why are you voting for Republicans who don't even believe in WIC, that are taking food out of children's mouths, health care, taking it away out of the elderly? It doesn't matter. Out of everybody's,
Yeah.
lives. This is unconscionable that anyone would vote for these policies. And the fact that I'm glad to hear that the mother-in-law said, "Well, you voted for this," because how else you gonna learn at this point? Just like the mask assholes, the ICE assholes wearing masks, that have to be shamed. I believe every time we see them, we have to say to them, "Shame on you, shame." Even if
Yeah.
you're walking down the street and some fucker passes you, shame on you with that mask.
Yeah.
Shame on
Oh,
you.
absolutely.
Really, shame. How dare you? That's why they should be ashamed of themselves wearing masks, signing up for this.
Yeah.
This too shall
They should.
pass, really, but
They,
your shame will last forever.
yeah, they should. And it's easy to shame someone. And there's a difference between guilt and shame. And I'm glad you
Right,
used the word shame because guilt is a person, to me, anyways,
right,
guilt is a personal expression of emotion. Shame is a group expression of emotion, is where
right.
you are
Yes,
shamed by a group of people
you're right.
into like out of
Yeah,
your views. Like you're shamed for them for
you're
being bad.
right.
And I think if you know somebody who actively voted for this and they're in your family and they're asking themselves, like,
Right,
point out the fact that you did vote for this. They
yep,
told you they were going to do this. They
right,
said it. And what you going to do about it now?
right.
And ask
Yeah,
them the next question is what you going to do about it? Are you going to vote for the same people the next time?
yeah,
Are you going to continue to enable the same people who lied to you? You
right,
don't have to admit that you were lied to, but you now know it. You felt it. You felt you got lied to. So what you going to do? You don't even have to really admit it anymore because you already know it in your heart, like openly.
right,
They know it at this point, a lot of
right.
them. And unfortunately, again, is yes, Americans have to feel it,
Mm,
specifically white Americans, before they're willing to make changes
right.
and see that they're not the same as rich people. And
That's
there's a
right.
difference because white is a construct that was made to enable robber barons in America and slavery.
Oh yeah, yeah. It goes back. I mean, that's
Yeah.
back to the early indentured servants when the lords turned the indentured servants against the enslaved here because they were afraid.
Hmm.
After Bacon's rebellion, they were like, "Oh shit." which was a rebellion that occurred when the indentured servants and the enslaved got together and rebelled against the masters. So they were like, "Oh
Hmm.
shit, how are we gonna keep these people from realizing that they have all the power? That there's more of them than there are of us?" It's like what happened in ancient Rome when there was an idea to make all the enslaved people wear an insignia or wear a collar or some kind of identifying marker, and then they decided against it because then they would realize, because they were afraid that they would realize just how many of them there were.
Hmm.
So, like, we don't want them to
Yeah.
know that there's more of them than and even to go back
Hmm.
to Rome too, which I love Rome. I love I love history in general, but there's only a few times in Roman history where the people were able to get a seat at the table, and that is through banding together and basically having a general strike. The secession of
Yeah.
the plebs. So, and it happened a
I
few times. But
I
yeah.
think America is ready for a more representative form of democracy, a more
Mm-hmm.
pure form of democracy, to be totally honest, because we're at a state where technology could enable that for us.
Yes, true.
Like, technology could unlock much more pure democracy and much more populistic democracy by there's an app for that. Like,
Right.
make
Right.
make voting required for general and federal elections. I don't see any reason why we should not have required voting in this country.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree,
our
but
Constitution
it's
actually, like,
yeah.
yeah,
Well, they've tried, of course. Not saying that we won't try again, but it's always the Republicans that say, "Oh, you can't make people do this. Your freedom and all this shit." They always couch it in the bullshit of freedom and tyranny,
okay,
or But
yeah, like,
give me a break,
okay,
right?
and here, yeah, give me a break. Here's a better
Mm-hmm.
alternative. Do what Australia does, where it's
Yeah,
voting is required, and if you want to not vote, then you get to pay money instead.
yeah, and it's
And
not
there,
even that
if
much
wealthy people,
money. It's a
yeah,
nominal fee, but it's there to remind you, oops, you didn't do your civic duty, and that's you
yeah,
know, and you should.
yeah, like it's your choice. It's your choice to not vote, but you have to pay a fine for it, and that money could then go fund something. But the a question in our Substack chat is what would that democracy look like? A more pure form democracy is it would require us to do a couple very, very streamlined and simple things. Is every bill would have to be readable for
Mm-hmm.
citizens and um, things like that, so that it has to be like less than 5 minutes to read a bill. And if it is longer than 5 minutes because it is a more complex topic that needs to be legislated on, it then needs to have an executive summary that is readable. And there can only be one thing per bill. So Shane Urick and I have talked about this. Shane Urick of the Firebrand Project, he comes on Banner and Backbone quite often. He and I do Pal and Talk together. We talked about this as a almost a inspector general branch,
Mm.
which would utilize if we want to go into the tech sector and use real good forward thinking technology, is use AI as a tool to pool and aggregate on language that's in a bill to ensure that that it is not biased. That it is not biased towards religion or preferencing a religion or discrediting that it is equal. If it's going to be discrediting any religion, it gets to equally discredit all the religions. Um, but we don't get to promote a single religion because that's what the government says is the
Mm.
US cannot establish a single national religion because that does not allow for representative democracy.
Right.
But also for a couple other like ethical things. But at the end of it, it's a human thing in the end is never the final say. That's just a tool. Is then it goes back to Congress and it
Excuse me.
has to then be voted on. It does not get to sit in a chamber once it's ready to be voted on. They don't get to just say no.
So
It
wait a
just
minute.
it gets voted on.
Hold on. So you're talking about doing away with the Congress, or
No, no, no,
oh,
no. Congress exists. Congress is the one who proposes legislation.
oh, okay. But
We get
people
human
vote on it.
citizens get the ability to vote to give responses back to these and get their input in a much more like straightforward way,
Mm.
and can
Mm-hmm.
say yeah, no, and can if it's there's an overwhelming like no for it, like 80, like a two-thirds majority say no, then no, that does not get voted on.
Hmm.
But if two-thirds say yes, it immediately goes to the floor. Um, or if it's just like somewhere in the middle in the general average without being outside of one of the standard deviations, is it then sits in that regulatory pool for like a week or two to make sure that the language is set and good and everything has been reviewed. And then it goes to the floor of Congress and has to be voted on. They don't get
Well.
to say no. Congressional members don't
Mm,
get to say no. They have to vote on it. And then they can say yes or no to the bill or
I
abstain.
see.
But it's only one thing per bill. So no omnibus bullshit, none of
Right.
this crap where you hide in like little things
Yeah.
that
Well, you put all your
kill
pet projects
bills.
in and whatnot. But
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad that, you're thinking like that and all that. And these are great, things to discuss or think
I mean,
about
that's what our
in the
democracy used
future.
to be.
Yeah, but I mean, the way I'm looking at it is like the first, this is
How do we get
nothing.
there?
Yeah, like, I
No.
mean,
Yeah.
the electoral college, first of all,
Oh, yeah.
all of the things you're
Popular
talking
vote all the
about.
way.
Right. This is why Republicans the first step has okay, all right, let me roll it back a little. We're in this boat, I believe, because of money and politics, two
Hmm.
things, and the corporate media and the media. I mean that is
Oh,
no
yeah.
doubt. Money and politics. I mean that's the circle jerk of corruption right there because the corporate
Yeah.
media is benefiting from the money and politics because they make a lot of money during the election season that never ends thanks to our system. And in other countries like in England they have I think it's a 90-day window, if even that. Now that I got to look it up
Hmm.
off the top of my head. I think it's 90 days. It might even be shorter. And you get and each candidate gets public campaign funds. That's the way we should have it right here in America if we wanted to have a functioning society. And there's ways. And I remember another show that we did that I was on one of your shows. I was trying to find this book that I read, and I couldn't find it, and I still can't find it. Where this man, I can't remember his name, and I'm butchering it all, but he talks about how we get our country back. That the way the country is set up, it is almost a magnet for corruption. It's because
Oh,
of
absolutely.
like people like Trump. Normal people don't want to deal with getting on the phone or dialing for dollars, so to speak. They want to serve. They want to serve their country, and then especially the way it's all set up now, where you just it's just all these horrible people, lying and self dealing and all, and people who are sane don't want to be a part of that system. So in order to
Hmm.
have like representatives that I gotta find this book. It's killing me. Maybe somebody can know who knows this can point me in the right direction because the guy was on Tom Hartman's show too. He was on. This was like a couple of years ago, and I was like, oh my god, this is what we need to do. But we're not even anywhere near there right now.
Yeah.
We have to first off get rid of Republicans legally and peacefully. They are the problem at this time. That's it.
Yes. Yes.
They need to be voted into history's trash bin. And the Democrat people like Nancy Pelosi, she's always like, Republicans take back your party. The American people needed a strong Republican Party that's done so much good for America, which they've never done a goddamn thing for America. But we don't need a Republican Party. I'm sorry, Nancy. if the Republican Party went away, the Democratic Party would break up into factions of. That's what would
Yeah,
happen. I mean, naturally, you know. But
and
we
that would be
would.
good.
Yes, and we would because they would all agree that we need a democracy and we're serving the people. So that's really that has to be the you know, you have to have a goal. You know, the goal of you know, you can't be going in different directions. The body can't go in multiple directions at the same time. It's the same thing with the body
Correct.
politic. We have to understand, you know what I mean? So we have to
Yeah.
agree that we want an economically vibrant, upperly mobile working class majority, not a fucking king and an autocracy and an aristocracy. But we're not, you know, there. So
We need to agree that we want conservatives and not regressives.
right,
Like I
exactly.
would rather have somebody who is a true conservative
Yeah,
who wants to
me
actually
too.
conserve the Constitution and defend the country and support what the Constitution stands for, which is promoting liberty and justice for all. And we could update that language so that it's more modern and more
Yes,
inclusive, and we should and we must. Um, and it's okay to rewrite the Constitution because, our founders said, do it every 19 years. Thomas Jefferson said,
supposed
do it
to.
every 19 years
Right.
because the Constitution should be the law for the living generation and not the dead generation because the dead don't care.
Right.
They're dead. Like I
Exactly.
care. I'm alive. But the dead
And
don't care.
you're
They're dead.
100%. And that's what the founders understood, that this is why Republicans are just so wrong on every level, because even, you
Yes.
know, the what's Uncle Clarence and the other corrupt and
Hmm.
illegitimate Supreme Court monsters, they're originalists. You know, there's nothing stupider in this system than being an
Originalists to
originalist.
what?
Well, that's what they said. They call themselves originalists to the Constitution. They believe that's the bullshit. They wrap their bullshit ideology around the veneer
Hmm.
of things like, oh, I'm an originalist, to give it some kind of legitimacy. But it's like intelligent design. They don't call it creationism because that's negative. People have a negative association with that. They call it intelligent design, and it's you know, as if it's on par with actual science, and it's not. You know, it's like your fantasy
Yeah.
of a man on a cloud, you know, tinkering away is really stupid, even if you call it intelligent design. I mean, in my opinion,
Yeah.
there's no
Conveniently
man.
designed.
I mean, you could. I don't know. Whatever. Let's not go into. I guess that.
No,
But
no, let's not go into that.
God.
Yeah, yeah. I think we agree though. We do agree though there that
Yes.
evolution is real.
Yeah, and you know, whatever, however you know, I don't know. I just don't. I think it's a little dumb to think that there's a man. Like, why a man on a cloud,
Yeah,
and you know, he has a
that one
penis.
I've never understood.
A man, a giant man on a cloud with, you know, who's very jealous, and he is
Here's
also
my
loves
question.
you, and you know, uh huh.
Here's my question though, is how did a man birth children of a
Wow,
nation of people, the first
well,
peoples? Was that
how?
man a
Hmm.
transgender
Oh,
male
that's right. You're
with
right.
female reproductive parts that worked and
Hello.
was able to birth the the people of Earth?
Oh
Because men
yeah.
can't birth things. Like the penis doesn't work that way.
No.
It does not grow to 10
Mm-mm.
or dilate to 10 centimeters. We do not push out babies. Things like, but women
Right.
do.
Well, that's
Um,
because, well, I mean, this is a whole other thing, you know. Well, Zeus, his children come out of his head, right? So, uh,
mhm.
yeah. I mean, it's all misogyny, however you slice it,
Oh
but
yeah.
that's about it.
It's,
And it's
I
bullshit.
mean, it's how we got to this point, though, with the quote on the screen. And because it's all
Right.
misogyny, it was
Really?
convinced that we needed to follow some smart man that could figure it out, smart businessman
Oh
specifically, who could
God,
do
I know.
everything for us and figure it out for us. And these smart, like family member of a famous family. They're going to figure it all out for
Right.
us. These men
This con
who have
man.
no idea what they're doing, and you bought into it. And so, yeah,
Uh-huh.
you voted for this.
Yeah.
So
Why?
just
Why did you vote for this? And this is the other thing with, and why we need to get our country back through what we're doing, I believe, and spreading the truth and the reality of the times that we live in. That there's that government is not a business. It's not. It
oh
shouldn't
no,
be run like a business. It's not about making a profit, even. That's not what
no,
governments are there to do. It's you don't
they're
get to pick
services.
exactly. You don't get to pick your inventory. You sometimes you have to, you got to, you don't. It's like private schools. They or these charter schools. They get to pick their students. So yeah,
Hmm.
you can certainly make it look really more successful on paper, but a public school doesn't get to pick who they accept. We have to accept everybody. So there are some kids have learning difficulties, or they're not coming from great backgrounds. They don't have everything handed to them, and they're struggling. So, but we have to help them too. We have to educate them too, and it might take a
Hmm.
little bit more money or time, or but it's all
In
about
lang
yeah. Mm-hmm.
sorry
No,
to
no,
cut in.
please,
In
no, you're
language, they might understand that some of these folks might understand in the fundamentalist side is this is like a fundamentalist LDS pluralistic marriage and a covenant marriage that's what the government really is. It's like a covenant marriage of
right,
pluralism where there's three parents
right,
and we don't get to and we're all the children and we don't get to leave. And right now we're in a really abusive covenant marriage
right,
where one branch doesn't think that where one of the parents thinks that they're better than everybody else and doesn't believe abuse is a thing. The other parent is more like the drunk uncle who's sleeping around in the relationship and sleeping with other people outside of the
right.
plural marriage. And the third parent is abusive or is abused and has been abused so much and beaten down that they've just given up and shut themselves
Right.
down.
Right. Right. Well, yeah. And this is why, what we're doing here, I believe, is how we're going to get this country back. And I actually I
Hmm.
wrote an article a few months ago about how government is not a business, and you know, and listed why. Let me see. Hold on.
Hmm.
It's
I'm
got
gonna
different.
I'm gonna have to drop here in a couple
Oh,
minutes,
okay.
just so you
Yes, I know it's you got your kids, and it's Halloween
know. Hmm.
and all that. And but thank you for joining. You want to tell
Oh,
everybody? Wait,
absolutely.
let me get tell everybody where to find you, how to follow you.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm Nick Paro again. You can find me on Banner and Backbone, which is www.bannerandbackbone.com. That'll take you to our Substack page. And you can also find me at Sick of This Shit Publications, which is my homepage, which is sickofthis.substack.com. And that's where I do all my chronic illness stuff and mental health work and make and community building. Banner and Backbone is my media network and where we're building out civic-based content and small independent creator content like Tara and myself and
Yes.
others and Ellie and Melissa Corrigan and folks like that. Tara's on every Friday with me on our anti-fascist book club.
Yes.
Um, and so, yeah, that's where you can find me. Plus, I'm on YouTube at the Sick of This Show, as well
Okay.
as Banner and Backbone, on Twitch at the Sick of This Show and Banner and Backbone. And
Yeah.
so, trying to grow out a little bit.
Right. That's
Um,
great. Do you want to? I have your links in there, but if you have any other links, if you want to just send them to me, I'll put them in the description, the other links, yeah, or all the links.
Oh yeah,
You know,
yeah,
if you
absolutely.
can before you. I mean, you don't have to do it right now, but because I know you have things to do. But yeah, just text
Yes.
them to me or whatever, and
Yeah,
I'll put them in the description too. I'll
sounds great.
add to them.
Thanks, Tara.
All right, my friend. Thank you for hanging out, and thank you for such a great
Yeah, thanks so much
conversation.
for having me.
Yeah, yeah, and all right, we'll talk to you again. Have a
Yeah,
happy
sounds great.
Halloween.
Happy Halloween. Thanks, Tara.
All
Thanks,
right, I'll talk to
everyone.
you later.
All right,
See
talk
you
to you later. Bye.
soon. Bye bye. All right, everybody. Nick Paro, Banner and Backbone, the Sick of This Shit podcast, and the Anti-Fascist Book Club, and all the rest. He's really one of the great Americans making this world safe for democracy. So I have his links in the description, but I will add the other links that he was talking about. So please, yeah, thank you. Just subscribe. Thank you, Dakota. Yeah, because we're in this together, so we have to support each other. And there's a lot of people doing great work. But the show's not over, so please hang out with me. We still have 40 minutes left of the show, and we'll meet here every Friday night. And starting on November 11th, there's going to be a Tarabuster Tuesday. So that'll be on the Political Voices Network. It'll be here. It'll be on the Political Voices YouTube channel. And we're gonna, I think I'm, gonna get some guests on that. The first guest for November 11th, that's gonna be a week after Election Day. Our first guest, or my first guest, is JoJo from Jersey. Yes, more show. Wait, hold on. I gotta pull my chair in a little bit. So that'll be interesting, right? JoJo from Jersey. And yeah, I'm tired. Look at my eyes. They're so red. Shit, man. Is this the best show in the business? Thank you. Oh, the best after show in the business. Thank you. Yes, it's a good show and a good after show. Ugh. I'm just getting old, guys. Hold on. My fucking chair. All right. And remember to subscribe to Twisted Nerves Painting on YouTube, and of course, remember to keep your dials tuned to APS Radio for all your holiday music, for not just the holidays, oldies and classic rock all day, and classical music. You got another channel to choose from. Oh shit, here comes the producer. Here he comes. Here he comes. This is Tara Jr. Hello. All right. Let me see. Where was I? We can do. Wait. Oh yeah. Why is government not a business? Let's go through this for a minute. Let us go through it for a second. How's everybody doing in the chat room? If you can, become a patron. Patreon.com/TaraDevlin. And do me a favor and subscribe to my Substack, people. Okay, even if you don't have the money to do the paid subscription, you could subscribe for free. I don't take anything except a couple of clicks. Where the fuck is my camera here? Oh, here we go. All right. So here's why government is not a business. Businesses exist primarily to generate profit. I can't even believe I have to write this down. For some people. Governments, on the other hand, exist to serve the public good. I mean, if they're functioning governments, and this government is not functioning at this time. It's functioning to make the rich richer, to make the people, not just the working class, the more malleable working poor, but it functions to twist people. That's the other thing that really pisses me off about the Republicans, is that they're not only robbing people of their money, they're robbing people of their sanity, their serenity. All of us. Oh, wow, that's the end of the show. You see, I was lowering the music because, I figure I'll just cut it myself. I didn't want to interrupt Nick when he was on a roll. But this is just the end of the Progressive Voices part of the show. We have more show. youtube.com/C for channel/Tarabuster, and on Substack, on all of the Banner and Backbone, and on the Political Voices Network. Nick is streaming the show on his channels right now. The Sick of This Shit and Political Voice. I mean, you know, all of those. I can't think. I'm tired. Thank you, Charlie, APS Radio News. Thank you, patrons, patreon.com/Tara Devlin. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out on Friday nights. All right. And become a patron. Oh, yeah, I said that. And on Substack. Whatever. Shut up. Stop talking about becoming this and that. And thank you, Primitive. How do you pronounce that? Primitive Velcon. Primitelcon. That's a cool name. Primitive Con. I'm fucking sorry. I'm tired. Primitive Velcon. High five, girlfriends, and Tara Jr. All right, my friend. Thank you. Thank you, my friend, for your super chat. That makes me very happy. And thank you, Errol. Errol is on I Have a Good Radio Voice? Okay. Thank you. You should have a Delilah. I should have a Delilah-style call-in show. Who's Delilah? Maybe I got to figure out. That'd be nice. I got to get the damn phones working. We used to have a phone system, but since not Substack, fucking names are killing me tonight. Since Skype went away, I have to figure out how to reconnect it. I used to connect it through Skype, and now we don't have Skype, so I don't know how I can connect it. Robyn. Oh, Robyn. Okay, Robyn. Thank you, Primitive Velcon. I'm sorry. I should just say primitive or pecan. Thank you, my friend. Thank you so much. All right. Where were we? Oh, yeah. Okay. We were talking about how Republicans suck. And you know what? Now that I'm thinking about this, you know what else sucks about them? You might have seen this today. J.D. Vance. What a horrible person. They're all such fucking snowflakes. That's what I can't stand about them. I thought this was the fuck your feelings crowd, or, right? They're such tough guys, but no, they're always such whiny bitches. And today, J.D. Vance was on some podcast, and where the hell is it? And he said that we should, it's perfectly normal and it's natural or reasonable. That's what he said. It was reasonable and acceptable to want your neighbors to speak the same language. That it was perfectly normal and reasonable and acceptable to be like wary of those who are different than you. I mean, what a little baby bitch. How about you, instead of being afraid, like a shut-in, that you act like someone that has some intellectual curiosity. And if you have a neighbor that moves in next door and they have a different culture and language, that you get to know them a little bit. That you say, wow, what a big, beautiful world we live in. That everyone has makes up this beautiful tapestry of life. That there's nothing to be afraid of. That maybe I can learn a thing or two from my neighbor who happens to be different. You know, it used to be a good thing to be worldly and intellectually curious and to try to learn things about other cultures. And in fact, speaking of Rome, that's how Rome lasted 1,000 years. because they did go out, and of course they conquered the world, but what they did was they learned other cultures, they absorbed other cultures, and they made it Roman. They didn't eradicate what they learned from other cultures. If they went somewhere and they found that, oh, they do it better over here in Persia, let's take that and make it Roman. They didn't change it. They just said, oh, this is Roman now, and now we do it better too. It's not about being afraid. It's about learning from, this big, beautiful world. All right, Tara Jr. Time to go lay down. Oh, Jesus, he fell. I'm sorry. He fell. You okay, kid? Come on. You know what he's doing? He likes to bite my hands, and it kind of gets on my nerves a little, but I could show you. I bet you. See? You see what I'm saying? If I'm talking and I go like this, see? He doesn't like it. I'm like, he don't like it. And it doesn't tickle when he bites my hands. But this is my junior, and he's a cranky old man at this point. And I'm a cranky old lady, so sometimes we clash when he's biting me. But anyway, so Vance said that, he's such a, they're just so unfit. This is who Republicans are. They're unfit to hold leadership positions in a modern nation. Come on. This isn't the 1600s anymore. I thought that we had put all this bullshit behind us, right? That's what's so sad. And this is why Republicans are not fit. Because they want to make us, drag us back to times that we rightfully left in history's trash bin. To be such a whiny, such a pathetic little sheltered coward. It's reasonable and acceptable to feel discomfort. Well, it's not the neighbor's fault you feel discomfort. And this is what Republicans, they're such whiny bitches that they never want to challenge themselves in any way, shape, or form. How do you make a country great if you don't grow? Growing up in itself involves pain, right? It's called growing pains. If you make a mistake and you need to change your life, like, for example, I'm in recovery. People who are in recovery, they know this. It's uncomfortable to change. So it's uncomfortable to take that searching and fearless moral inventory of yourself and change. Keep what's working. Leave the rest, right? It's uncomfortable to change, but it's necessary, just like in growing up from childhood to adulthood. You have to sometimes experience some uncomfortability. And that's absolutely, perfectly, as J.D. Vance would say, reasonable and acceptable. And it's reasonable and acceptable to encourage your fellow Americans to not be such a little whiny bitch that you do everything to avoid feeling uncomfortable, right? That's all of the Republican policies, like DEI, when they go after DEI. Remember the whole what was that? It was not just DEI, it was critical race theory. You can't teach critical race theory, even though it wasn't being taught to anybody except it was a law school class. It wasn't being taught to elementary school kids. We weren't teaching kids about the theories and about the systemic racism of this country that this country has been under for hundreds of years and before. So But you can't, anything, according to Republicans, anything that makes any little white person uncomfortable can't be mentioned anymore. That's a bridge too far for Republicans. They're simple, very simple people, and they're fucking snowflakes, right? Yes, it's reasonable. And you know what else is, according to J.D. Vance, they're just this country is just too big and diverse for Republicans. That's what it is. That's why they want to make it as small as they are. They want small government. What they're talking about is small democracy. They want you as small as they are. America, as written, is a very big country. It has big ideals. And that's a good thing. That's what makes America great. Everything that makes America great, Republicans want to destroy. That's right. As Brandon says on the chat, CRT was taught in one college at an 8-year law school. Nope, can't have that. But they always lie. That's what Republicans do. They can't win fairly and squarely on the field of ideas, so they lie. They have to divide people. They have to make... and this is what, how long have I been saying this, guys? That you will never hear a Republican challenge one of their voters or their constituents or people who are dumb enough to vote for them. You will never hear them challenge them to evolve. So when J.D. Vance is on a New York Post podcast, of course, Rupert Murdoch's Poison Pustule podcast, and he says that it's reasonable and acceptable to be a dick if your neighbors happen to speak a different language or from a different culture. Wouldn't you expect someone with self-assuredness and intellectual curiosity in a modern nation of immigrants that, this is the vice effing president? It would be nice for that person to model the behavior of an adult instead of a scared little child who's never been outside the goddamn confines of his block. But they want people afraid and small. They want people to have permission to be assholes. As you know, they're one of the new, or it's taking, it's spreading like wildfire. Republicans calling people retards. I don't even want to say that word. It's so ridiculous. It's pathetic. It's juvenile. This is who they are. They want people to go back to times where, it was okay to not give a shit about somebody who was different. In fact, mock them. If someone was born different, mock them. Don't have any compassion, because according to Republicans, compassion is weakness, and they don't need you compassionate, because then you might care about your fellow Americans. You might care that they don't have health care, they don't have a job, they don't have retirement security, that they're struggling, they're living paycheck to paycheck. If that's not you, if you have compassion, if a country is built on compassion, community and country and community built on compassion, then why would, how are they going to steal? How are they going to build monuments to themselves? How are they going to steal your money and make you, instead of point your anger where it belongs, make you point your anger at your neighbor who doesn't speak the same language as you? All these divisive distractions. These people are pathetic. They should be ashamed. And worse, those who voted for them should be ashamed. That's why shame is a very effective social feature of civilization. Shame is necessary. It plays a pivotal role in maintaining the social order and in supporting civilization, development of civilization by promoting what's normal, what's acceptable, discouraging behaviors that threaten group cohesion. That's what Republicans are doing. They're threatening the entire country and the community, the body politic. It's painful. Yeah, shame can be painful when you do something that you get ashamed of. But Mother Nature put that in us so we can live in community because we are interdependent. We need each other. We're an interdependent species. We feel each other's pain. Not all species have that ability, but we do. If you're not a sociopath like Traitor Trump and Kristi Noem and Stephen Miller and his bitch wife, right? We need the shame. We should feel each other's pain. It helps us regulate what kind of values and expectations we want from each other. What kind of a country and a community are we going to be? Are we going to be one that makes the rich richer, gives the rich everything, while the working class just toils and toils and toils without without any reprieve, without nothing? Are we gonna? How long are we going to allow this to continue? Shame is like a societal alarm, right? So that's why I say shame on those masked ICE assholes. Shame on them. They should be ashamed. In fact, from a evolutionary standpoint, shame was developed, or so they theorize, as a mechanism to encourage individuals, because we're all just individuals making up a community. We're not rugged individuals, because there has never been a rugged individual in the history of humanity, because no one has ever gotten to be an adult and live in the world without other people. No one, not a single human being has ever done it alone. Not one, ever. You get it? For real. But we have shame. Mother Nature gave us this shame to encourage the individuals that make up the collective to act in acceptable ways, to help avoid, hurting each other. So, but, shame also requires a level of self-reflection that Republicans don't want you to have either. You're not supposed to, well, I guess it's all self-reflection. It's just selfishness. Without any self-reflection, right? You just go out there and call people retards and whatever other word. Call them a disparaging term, bigoted term, just call them names. Because that's what Republicans need. They need you to be that asshole, that unself-aware, selfish prick that doesn't give a shit about anybody else but themselves. They need you to do that. I hope you are complying, maggots, but I know you are. I'm only kidding. I really wish you weren't. I wish you would wake the F up. Unfortunately, it looks like it's happening. You're being shaken awake by your own stupidity. So, yeah, let's see. What else? Where is my... Oh, yeah, see? Look at this president. The best president of the modern era, FDR said, "The test of our progress is not whether we add more to the abundance of those who have much. It is whether we provide enough for those who have too little." Not in maggot land, not in Republican bizarro world, where J.D. Vance has been on how many vacations now? They've only been in office 8 months. And this asshole has been on vacation. Well, he was on a vacation a week. He was on a roll there. I'm not kidding. He went to England, France. He's not on official visits. He was taking him and his family. They went skiing. They went to Disneyland. They shut down Disneyland, ruining the vacations of other Americans. Now, could you imagine if that were Harris when Biden was in the White House and Harris could you imagine if she took her family to Disneyland and shut down Disneyland? You imagine how Fox News would have eviscerated her. I mean, this is why I can't stand these people, and it's because, they don't you see the hypocrisy? If only they were consistent, then you could, give them latitude. You could say, all right, well, hey, they're equal opportunity opinions. And unlike Republicans, that's what we do here. We don't give Democrats a pass. That's for sure. We call them out too. If Harris had done that, if she had taken her family to Disneyland and ruined the vacation of other Americans, and then when they asked her about it, she said, oh, sorry. Laughed about it. But we had a good time. Could you imagine? God, I'm just so sick of Republicans. The hypocrisy, I'm sick of them giving them a pass. I'm sick of the projection. I'm sick of them, the confession. Oh, yeah, private profit. Let's see. Let's keep going. Well, I don't want to go through the whole thing, but yeah. Oh, here's another one. Yeah, private profit or public responsibility. Businesses can choose to focus on profitable markets and ignore unprofitable ones. This is another way that government is not a business. For example, governments have a responsibility to serve everyone, including the marginalized and underserved populations. And I wrote about this before, how the United States Postal Service takes a mule train to a remote Native American tribe living on the floor of the Grand Canyon. UPS and Federal Express won't go there because it's not profitable. But, some liberal thought that it would be good for the shining city on a hill to have every community connected. Republicans hate that. They don't want connection. They want us to be divided. So, yeah, follow my Substack, if you don't mind. Where is my other camera? It's just they're just, wait a minute. They're just so tedious. These effing the Republicans. I'm so sick of them. But worse than me being sick of them, we are sick from them. Okay? And like I was saying before Nick called in, maggots have destroyed, Republicans have destroyed the Springfield, Ohio, twice now. And now that the Haitians are leaving, they're going to Canada, Springfield is once again on the decline. Isn't that typical? But what really irritated me about Republicans destroying Springfield, is that, okay, the immigrants, the Haitian immigrants, moved to Springfield because they were lured there by Ohio local officials and businessmen and women, because because Ohio was decimated thanks to Reaganomics and Clintonomics of Bill Clinton. The trade policies that shipped factories overseas. And then how did the people of Springfield thank the Haitian immigrants for breathing life back into their communities? Well, they voted for Trump. After Trump told the whole world that their neighbors were eating the dogs and eating the cats, and it was a filthy lie. All he was doing was, of course, tickling those racist funny bones and putting a target on the backs of their neighbors. And they voted for traitor Trump over 64%. It was one of the largest margins. Let me see. Where is it? Let's see. Because that's what really irritated me the most about it, is that that's how you thank your neighbors, right? In the 2024 election, Clark County, where where the Haitians were supposedly eating the dogs and cats, voted over 64%, gave 64% of their fellow citizens, of the neighbors, thanked their neighbors by feeding them to the dogs, feeding them to the demons, I should say. So they decimated the town twice, Republicans, and starting in the 80s and then now. How do you live with yourself, Republicans? How? Because Republicans, they thrive. They can't survive without division and deceit. He put that baboon put a target on the back of the very immigrants whose hard work had brought Springfield back from the dead, back from the Republican-imposed death spiral. And instead of gratitude, the community voted overwhelmingly for the same con man who demonized their neighbors. And now the Haitian families are leaving. What choice do they have? Trump said he's doing away with their protective status. He's, either they're going to go back to where they came from, where they were fleeing, or they're going to go to Canada. They're going to Canada. Canada is welcoming them. So they'll take their economic prosperity and initiatives and, the families that are now leaving and going to Canada. They're taking all of their productivity with them and leaving behind Republican boarded up storefronts. This is what Republicans do. Everything they touch, they destroy. And we know that everything Trump touches turns to shit. Everything Trump touches, what is the name of that book? Whatever Trump touches dies. Same thing with Republican policies. And, Nick is from a red state. He's from Arkansas, sadly. I feel bad. Yeah, there are normal people, like Robyn Kincaid, lives in West Virginia. Another red state, shamefully. This is where the Democrats have failed, too, with the messaging game. I mean, I could help them. I wish they would listen to me, But, because the way you get to bring people back from the brink and get them to stop voting against their own interests and voting for their own demise and voting for the demise of us, of everyone else. That's who they're voting for. Is you have to, you got to tell them the truth without apology. You got to say, listen, dum-dum. Stop slitting your own throat. What is wrong with you? Get help. You don't like, what is it? You don't like trans people? Fucking none of your business. Leave people alone. And since when did you give a shit about trans people? Until they started to tell you to hate them. Well, the Nazis targeted trans people first, too. Stop being such a Nazi. Leave people the hell alone. right? Stop being so goddamn easily played. And stop voting for your own demise, because red states are poorly run. They rank lower on quality of life, such as health, education, wealth, infrastructure. Jesus Christ. But that's why, when we were talking with Nick, and I said facetiously, well, I thought government was the problem, right? Well, now we see what bullshit that is. What's really irritating with the Democrats not listening to me and Nick is that they've allowed the the Republican voters to hold on to their delusions. Why? I think because the Democrats think that they're going to get these people to vote for them if they talk to them nicely, if they don't make them feel anything, I guess, right? If they don't confront them. Well, you got to pull people's covers before the truth sets you free. It'll piss you off. So pull their covers. You got to tell them red states are taker states. And they receive more in federal aid than they contribute in tax revenue, while they continue to vote Republican overwhelmingly for candidates who oppose, in the least, right, the very social safety nets that these people depend on. And you know what really irritates me too, besides everything else, is that when, for example, with these farmers who are now losing their farms thanks to the Republicans they voted for, they're like, they always have to preface it, well, we don't want to do this. We're not takers. We are hardworking. We're, we don't want to take it. We're doing this reluctantly. We would rather. Who the fuck wouldn't rather work? Stop voting for people that make it harder to earn a goddamn living wage. How about you stop voting for Republicans who have turned this country from the most to the least upwardly mobile, with the widest income gap of all of our Western democratic partners? That's why, you can't get ahead. Because of the tax structure, you boo-boo. You bum-bum, you dum-dum. Because we used to have a tax system, a system of progressive taxation where, the rich could get rich, but they couldn't get so rich that they could buy up government, that they could corrupt politicians. So how about you stop empowering the very parasites that are killing you and us, the whole country? Red states are taker states. Not just that, they're the worst. They suck. They, I don't know what it is. How much do you have to hate yourself? Mississippi, West Virginia, Kentucky, Alabama, to continue to vote for people that have you lagging, to say the least. I mean, you're on the bottom of innovation, economic opportunity, education, health, wealth, environment. What is it? Is it because they pretend to be all about the babies, right? That's another thing. Republicans make more abortions. Republicans hurt children. Everywhere we look, they're just so full of shit. I really do wish they were the Christians they purport to be. Maybe we wouldn't, maybe we wouldn't be in this boat. Am I wrong? No, I'm not wrong. I wish I was wrong, but I'm not. As I always say, it sucks to be right, literally and figuratively. What time we got here? Oh, my lordy. 2 minutes. How did that happen? 2 minutes? Well, in these last 2 minutes, because I'm going to bed, I've got to get unconscious. Thank you, JD Christie, for your super chat. Xenophilia bonus. Wow, thank you for your super chat, my friends. If you can, become a patron at patreon.com/TaraDevlin and become a subscriber to the Substack. All of that will be great. I got to build this community and keep it growing, and maybe one day I can get a little help. I need a little help. That'd be nice. Look at me. Look at my eyes. They're so red. All right, guys. Remember, Charlie, APS Radio, and APS Radio News. All right, just set APS Radio. Go to APS Radio. Choose if you want to listen to classic rock and oldies, or classical music, or, you know, switch back and forth. Just put that on your soundtrack for your holiday, for your life. And also APS Radio News. There are other independent media voices like myself, and not just me, but others. And Charlie is a great person, so, who's a good friend of mine, a great friend of mine, a friend. We need friends in this fucking world, don't we? And what else? Oh yeah, I don't know. I'm tired. A lot of shit to talk about. I feel like I skipped everything. Not everything. I skipped some things we were going to talk about, but it's okay because we had the conversation we were supposed to have. And let's see what I'm going to have to do. What I want to do. I got to do more videos. I feel like I'm getting sick too. Maybe that's why I'm tired and my eyes are red. Well, my eyes are red because I had a hard day. I was a little upset earlier, thinking about life. Not that I'm sure none of you can relate. I'm only kidding. God help us all. Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, I should say. All right, my friends, listen. We will win. And I want to thank you, Nick, from Banner and Backbone. And it's, you know, people like Nick that keep me going. I'm very grateful to have met Nick. He's very inspirational. Nick Paro from Banner and Backbone. And he is one of the good guys, you know. We're making this community. We're doing it. We're doing it anyway, whether Republicans like it or not. Oh God, you know what? I'm so sick of them. Don't get me going. Don't get me going. Exactly. Matt says, I'm coming down with something too. Who has time to be sick? This is the problem. Exactly. I hope you feel better, my friend. And thank you. Yeah, I got to make some more emojis. That's little Tara Jr. and little Ray Ray. I got to get Boudica and little Francis. I should get Francis in a cone too. Yes. Hey. Classic rock. No. Classic rock, Errol, is on APS Radio. Classic rock and oldies all day. And classicals. We got to support our sponsors and friends. All right, my friends. So in 2 weeks, there will be a Tarabuster Tuesdays. And then, who knows? I will probably end up doing Thursdays or another day, maybe a Wednesday. I don't know. I just got to get my shit together, my schedule. I don't know what's happening. Everything's in such flux right now. And what else? All right, I gotta go. I'm tired. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, everybody. Please so follow my Substack. I'm kind of concentrating there. Also, on during the week, I've been going on Hal Sparks' show every now and then. So it'll be announced on there. So follow me. And I like Substack because I feel like we can all communicate easier on there. So you can contact me. You can send me messages and all that. Yes. I know. Commander Bond says, who has time to be sick? My insurance is going up fucking $890. Going up. 809. I can't. I'm like panicking myself. Fuck these people. I got guys, this is why what we're doing is so important. We got to get this goddamn shit back. We don't deserve this. We deserve a country worthy of us. We don't deserve to be hosts from which to suck profit and discard. All right, my loves. Thank you for hanging out tonight. Remember, we will win. Thank you, Nick Paro from Banner and Backbone. My name is Tara Devlin. Thank you, Charlie from APS Radio and APS Radio News. We are on the right side of history. We're on the right side of decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. And if everybody on this chat here, I see we have almost 300 people on Substack and all of us on YouTube. If everybody just subscribed to my damn Substack right now, that would make me happy. Little Tara happy at last. Right? Substack. I know some of you already are. How come I can't type? I can't. All right. It's hard to hang up. It's like you hang up. No, you hang up. I'm putting that here. Oh yeah. So you already have the Substack. Substack has the Substack. What else? I'll put the YouTube in the Substack. You can like and subscribe. All right, guys, I gotta get unconscious. Whew. We will win. All right, we're on the right side of history, decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. My name is Tara Devlin. Thank you for hanging out, and I will see you very soon. And stay safe. I'll see you soon. That's the wrong damn thing. Here it is. That's the one. I'll see you soon.